Ladies and gentlemen, we're back with another one. And today we have an important discussion on not ending up as exit liquidity. And today I'm just going to use my boxes as the background so you guys aren't looking at my ugly face today. So anyway, we're back with another one, and today we're going to have a discussion on telling people to genuinely be careful. Like, seeing a lot of these price rises, don't end up as exit liquidity. Because, like, a lot of people like myself, I'm really looking at, like, dumping, and I feel like a lot of investors need to really consider this moment, of what they really are in Pokemon for, and examine if they really want to be in this for a while, or if they just kind of want to get their fast profits. Because if you're really in it for the money, right now is just an incredible time to cash out. 151 UPCs breaking $1,000 today, and I want to start this off as the difference between good investors and bad investors are honestly just fucking diamond hands, dude, of just holding. But sometimes you have to accept when your investment has hit its goal or its milestone. And like, for me with Fusion Strike, it was honestly like $1,000. It was like, man, when Fusion hits 1,000, like, I'm gonna sell. And then I just didn't. But this time I'm getting pretty serious about selling. And hell, even Champion's Path. A lot of people were saying that the ETBs weren't that investable. Even Champion's Path went from $80 to now being a $200 ETB. And it really just required being patient and just going against what everyone else says and holding. And like, you've hit this point now where like you've successfully done this. And if you like, and that's the difference between a good investor and a bad investor, is like holding no matter what. And it kind of like proved to me making my last video, of saying like what Venusaur 151 Venusaur people are here with me that held through my advice. And there was actually a guy that watches my channel that when Venusaur went from 60 to 80 and then back down to 60, he was kind of like, damn, like Venusaur didn't do much, man. And now, like, we're sitting at 160, and here I am with 3 Venusaurs, and no one around me has any. You know what I mean? Like, even though I had said to hold it, people eventually lose faith in something they've had for so long, and they miss a lot of gains in that if something's a good investment, most of the time not a lot of people will stand with you in unison saying, hey, this is a good investment, let's hold for like years, which is true. Like, you end up being the only person on the mountain holding your stuff, and everybody else, as soon as they get their first bit of profit, they sell. Like, we have a friend that had a bunch of Fusion Strike booster boxes, and when they hit 700, when he bought it like 400, he was ready to sell, and me and my one friend that's an environmental attorney, like, me and him, we just both held. We're like, fuck it, diamond hands it and just hold on to it no matter what. And now it's, breaking $1,200 for a Fusion Strike booster box. It's just crazy times. It truly is. But I really want to start this out, man. All great investments, they start at a point where you're the only one on the mountain. Like Fusion Strike was $80 at one point. You were the only person that believed in them back then. And I want to make a very smart comparison of here's the next thing that's $80 that everybody's still kind of just taking for granted. And eventually they'll probably look back and say, son of a bitch. That I feel like I'll be the only one on the mountain holding, like hundreds and hundreds of ounces. And everyone else will be like, oh, shit, man, I sold it when I hit 100, or I don't know. It just seems like that's how it always works. But the true difference of just emotional investors and patient investors, the patient investors always win. And but the thing is, though, is man, you feel stupid for like months, sometimes years, and then just everything you did comes together in unison. And like you have the exit liquidity right now. Man, like a lot of you people are so crazy spending $1,000 on a 151 UPC. Like I'm like right now there is like an army of like 1,000 people wanting into Pokemon, like head first, ready to open their wallets. And it's like I have thousands of people hitting me up every day now. And like you normally I'd get like one or two, three, four people hit me up on Marketplace, and now it is like an army of like thousands of people. Literally like, I'll buy it. I'll buy whatever you got. I'll buy it. I'll buy this. I'll buy that. They don't care. Whatever the price is, they'll just buy it. Um like it really is something else that I don't know if it's just the new investors coming into it not realizing some of this stuff is kind of dangerous. Some of it's not that dangerous. And like I'll give a good example of this, folks. Was base set. Like base set's $40,000 now, and this is what made me want to make this video, to just tell you all not to become exit liquidity, and especially if you're newer to Pokemon. Like a lot of us bought this stuff very cheap. Um, like just because something's this price now does not mean most of us are buying it. Um, like, and I mean I hope things go incredible forever, uh, but anyway, so there was a base set box for 40 grand with 5 grand shipping. So they wanted 45K. And this box was in like 10 people's carts, meaning by like 10 different people were deciding on buying it. And I have a friend that has a base set box. When it hit 30 grand, I said, man, you should probably really sell. He said, dude, I would sell if I could. No one's buying it. He was taking it to shows and people weren't even offering him 15 grand. And I mean, now they would because the price is like extremely high, but even he was bitching. He's like, I paid like 12 for it. He's like, no one wants to buy it for even, 15, 20. And like, yeah, he would have found someone to probably pay, 25 at the time at least. But like now there's people really considering dropping 40 grand on base set when it's not even that great of a set, to where it's like, I would prefer much rather to drop 12 grand on team up, because I feel like that is actually a safer box to buy. Because first of all, the Lovebirds are way better than the base set Charizard. Um, Team Up's just a better set in general. The only thing that helps base sets, the pull rates are better. But other than that, like a box like Team Up, yeah, at 12 grand, it still has the potential to hit 20 or 30. It should be that high because it's just as good a set as base set in my opinion, if not better. Just the pull rates are like meh in it. They're not terrible, but they're not like as good as like base set pull rates. But Team Up was that one-off box that really stands out though amongst them all, and it's like 12 grand for that may really feel like it's too much money, but it's like in reality I would much rather buy something like that over a base set box for $40,000. But everyone always just sees the positive, and I'm here to tell you, like I was in the hobby. And maybe a lot of people didn't notice this, but there was a time where base set went from 10 grand to 30 grand, and then it crashed back down to 15 grand, folks. And it sat there for like a year. It actually crashed to 12 grand, and it sat there for like almost a year. I mean, it did not move. And no one tends to talk about this type of stuff because it like doesn't happen often, and when it does, like the people that lost money, they just sell and they just move on to their next decision, and no one actually brings it up or like take. Most people don't even notice it even what happened because they're not paying attention. But if you were paying attention, I watched a lot of people that bought base set boxes for 25, 30 grand, and their money got cut in half, and everyone just had the same narrative. It only goes up, bro. And I'm here to say, like, this time, it may always just go up forever. Pokemon may be the endless cash flow, but I'm telling you, there's a lot of people right now, including myself, that are like, dude, it's probably time to just start cashing out. Because it's like, I have like 12 Fusion Strike boxes, and they've all hit, over 1,000. Like, incredible games. And, like, I was buying up cases, and it just makes me very tempted to cash out on a lot of it. And especially all my 151 UPCs. Like, I bought my 151 UPCs at 80. My case, I spent 350 on it. It's worth 5 grand now for a sealed case of 151 UPCs. And it's like, now seems really like the best exit liquidity if you're only in it for the money. But I don't know. I still love my collection, so I might not sell. But I'm definitely contemplating taking advantage of it because first, it might be reprints. Second, if they do have a big reprint thing for the 30th anniversary, I don't know if it'll affect all these older boxes' prices or not. But if they just mass print the 30th, there might be some risk there. So these are all things that take note of in Pokemon that it really does seem like too euphorically good to be true. Um, and that's why I think a lot of people are being trained to be exit liquidity. But I guess we'll see what happens though, because like I said, Pokemon does go up, and it does very, very rarely dip. But it is just going to be interesting to see what happens. But it is looking like 151 UPCs are going to be pushing like 13, 14, 1500. Um, and yeah, it's just like, man, if you're only in front of the money, it's a damn good time to exit. But most people, they weren't patient. Um, to buy at 80 and then hold this long, or even when they were like $300, people were just like, oh, I don't want to pay that, fuck that. And now it's 1,000, which is just crazy because I have a giant pile of 151 UPCs. And but like I said, there's like an army of people that literally like are chasing me down to buy stuff. Like, I've never seen anything like it. And but it was because I was the patient investor that just like held and just didn't care, and just waited. And now, like, I'm kind of thinking about enjoying the fruits of my labor and selling off like a lot of stuff and making a shitload of money. Um, and yeah, like, I don't know. Like, hate to get rid of almost anything Pokemon because you never know what's going to happen. But at the same time, like, it's been a really good run, and it's definitely not a bad time to really consider about thinking about exit liquidity, especially in this 151 stuff. Like, over $1,000 for a UPC, like, that's kind of when you start to really think about, like, okay, it's time to hit some fat bags on people. Because you bought it for like $200, $200, $80 in my case. So it's just like, it makes you want to just go hit a bunch of licks. Every person you meet is like 1,000 here, 1,000 there. Like, I have over 1,000 people hitting me up for fucking stuff, and like my going through my marketplace, like I said, it's a mess. Like, I don't even want to reply to all the people because there's like literally like a fucking 1,000 people. Like, and they all just have their checkbooks out. They're ready to buy everything. Like, from Champions Path ETBs, these weren't even liquid for like 150 and for 130, and now they're liquid at 200. Like, I don't know. Like, Fusion Strike, it wasn't even liquid for 9, and now it's just like the buyers line up at 11. Like, and might even pay more here soon. I don't know. Um, but I will say, the patient investor does always win. Um, but you'll probably most likely be the only person standing on the hill. And It was just like with Prismatic, like me and Vapor were saying about it. We're like the only two people standing on the hill saying, "Fuck, we're doing it." You know what I mean? Like, hope you do too. Like Prismatic Pokemon Center ATVs were 166. They're now 500. Like, I hope you were buying them then. You know what I mean? But most people didn't. And I feel like Silver is going to be just that same thing, where I'll be the only person with just shitloads of ounces, or like there'll be a few of us, and it's just like, these will be a fucking $1,000 an ounce eventually. Like, I mean, like, just look at this. Like, this is $1,000 and serves no real purpose in life, but this is $80, and like literally the world depends on it. It's just an interesting concept to think about, but um, but at the same time, Pokemon is fucking interesting, and collecting sealed is fun, and I don't know. Maybe it will just continue to go forever, but it's like shit. If you're the person buying Unbroken Bonds at 2,900 right now, it's like I was buying these for three. Just saying, like, I don't know. Maybe Pokemon will just continue to just go up forever though. But at some point, you kind of start to be like, man, I don't know. Like, I paid nothing for this stuff. I might as well take 10x gains. But that's just kind of where my head's at with it. But this is why it's important to be a patient investor though, and try to look ahead for trends, because like, well, everyone's now paying 1,000 for Fusion Strike. I was planting seeds at 125 a box. And then even when it went up, when it was going for 6,300 a case, I still was planting seeds and buying cases at that. At 6,300, and it's like the case is now, 8 grand, sometimes 12 grand now for first print run sealed cases. That's why I say the sealed case is more important. But even for Fusion PCTVs, the cases, a lot of people are now asking over 2 grand. Brilliant Stars, the PCTV case is another one. They were at what, 15? No, they were at, I paid 200 for mine. They were at 600 when I mentioned them on the channel, and even those are like 1,200 for the case. Like, it's almost the story as old as time. But I will say this: I still am kicking myself in the ass for not buying more 151, because I think about like my 600 ounces in silver that are all like 80 a piece, and I'm like, man, I could have bought 600 fucking 151 UPCs. Like, that was really the move. But it's happened like twice now, where it's like Evolving Skies was one of the best things you could do with your money, and now it was 151, and then it was Prismatic Evolutions, and um, it's just not normal for the Pokemon market to be just going up this rapidly. But it's definitely interesting to see. Everyone that said it was going to MSRP, I knew that's not going to fucking happen. Like, uh, that just seemed to, like, insane. Uh, but I don't know, to keep climbing and climbing and climbing, it's definitely getting crazy. And the crazy thing is like, a couple of these boxes haven't even climbed yet. Like Unified Minds, like, that's when I think, honestly, like we're gonna look at that, and it's gonna be a fucking $8,000 to $10,000 box. You can still get it for 3K. Like, same with Unbroken Bonds. Like, it could be a lot higher than what it is. And like, even Champions Path ETVs, like, shit, they were 80, they were 50, and now you're looking at fucking $200 for them. Like, if you just let them play around. Crown Zenith ETBs, another one, they were 40. I passed up so many of them for 40. I bought a lot of them for 40, but still, I could have bought way more, and I just didn't. And it's a shame. Uh, they're $350 now. Lost Origin ETBs. I set them on the channel to buy them at 40 and 80. No one did. They're now 220. Like, just everything in Pokemon, just on every set almost, has just completely skyrocketed. That it's like, if you held it, it definitely went up. And I don't know. It's definitely wild to see. But anyway, that's all I wanted to talk about, though, was just saying, the power of patience. And I feel like in silver, that's definitely very important right now for stackers to understand, like, patience. And You know, how sometimes you're just ahead of your time and like you just need to plant your seeds and just wait. And like that's what you're doing right now if you're a silver holder is just you're planting your seeds until you're at, until you have really good exit liquidity. And that's what I did with all of these investments. All like tons of the other Pokemon I have. I bought it very, very cheap and I just waited until now to have that crazy exit liquidity. And I mean, like I said, regular ETBs, you name it, it's all up. Like evolving regular ETBs pushing 525 and those still kind of feel undervalued. I mean, it's just like everything has just completely exploded. And it just makes you wonder, like, is there something bad about to happen? And now, like I said, it's kind of the time where you should really consider that and say, like, okay, it's time to act like a villain here and start fucking turning all this goddamn Pokemon into real cash. And then maybe putting that cash into silver or in some very safe asset uh, that, is just a little safer. But that's why I kind of stayed in both of like silver and Pokemon and gold. But at the same time, like, I'm really considering to start turning more Pokemon into just silver. Um, because it just does not seem like a bad move to do with just these massive spikes. Of like if 151 goes to like 1,500 or 2 grand a UPC, I'll probably be selling and turning more of that into silver if silver doesn't pump. Um, but that's why I also stayed in both though, because if I would have sold team up when it was only like 8 or 9 grand and just took and then bought silver, I would have, lost that 4 grand gain that we got. So sometimes you are better off just holding the line until the price really does increase. And I don't know. I guess we'll see what happens in the future with just everything. But this really does prove it though. Like people really want the physical assets over just digital stuff. Like that has just always been better. That like silver, I can hold in my hand. I can sell it at any time I want for a market price, and someone will give me $80 for this, no matter what. Like if I ever want to sell an ounce and I need you know to use it for my daily life, I can take this somewhere to a shop and sell it for $80, and I have it turned into cash really fast. And it's kind of the same concept in Pokemon. It's like these are just real assets that you can hold in your hand, and like over time they go up, and they Pokemon doesn't really follow any rhyme or rhythm. They shit just either skyrockets or it doesn't. But like with silver though, it's kind of like the same deal of like you get in early, plant your seeds, and hope they grow. And if they don't grow in like a couple years, and you just kind of feel like maybe you're wasting your time, then you dig them back up and sell them. And that's the beautiful part about physical assets over cash is that they always hold a value that you can turn them into cash like now, but if you wait longer, you turn them into more cash. So that's, really what's driving silver and Pokemon and gold and why they're also successful is there's more stability there than the just like trust me, bro, it might skyrocket or it might not. And I don't know. I think that will just continue to be a popular trend. Anyway, that's all we have for this one. Hope you enjoyed the night talk. We're out.